In the Palouse Range along the Washington-Idaho border, you'll find what many would consider steep grades and somewhat treacherous terraces. It's just another day on the farm for Kevin Wagner.
Behind that thing, on the other side of it, there's a hill that they measured that's, I think it's 46%, and I spray it. Most of the country around here for us is 15 to 30% grades, 35%.
The perfect combination of power, traction, efficiency, along with the simplicity of a mechanical drive transmission is what Wagner needs to keep his operation running smooth. When it came to selecting his next sprayer, Wagner went with the new 275 horsepower option from Apache, the Plus 2.
The new Plus 2 has got quite a bit higher horsepower, got a lot of good torque. It gets you up and down the hill. The biggest thing I like is the power ratio and how it's getting around and the efficiency of it.
You don't need to overcompensate with a clunky, heavy hydrostat sprayer to get maximum efficiency with maximum power.
Person would say, oh yeah, I'd always like to have more, but how much do you want to pay for? Where's your fuel efficiency and all those factors? Where's your compaction for more weight, more power? All that other plays into effect. I've always been very, very pleased with Apache's weight ratio and what it does out there in the field as far as tracks and things. This one here is covering the bases good.
This is my first time driving an Apache. You know, we're down here in the middle of an old stubble field, but it's steep and it's rough in parts. You know, my real goal of wanting to drive one today was to see how it handled a hill. You know, to see what a non-hydrostat machine felt like. Down in this country, you know, I struggle with the case machine in its ability to not tear up crop when I'm climbing a hill. I get any slippage at all out of the fronts, and I'll tear out my wheat. You know, when you take a market that is completely dominated in the Northwest by the biggest tractors in the world, that everything's four-wheel drive or you don't even get in it, it takes a while to get over that mentality that you have to have four-wheel drive. You know, there's no need to have four-wheel drive in that machine. You know, the Apache did everything it needed to do in two-wheel drive. Really, everything hinges back to it being a torque converter machine. You know, and it was very positive and very tight. The chassis was well suspended. Visibility is nice out of the cab. You know, I have more rearward visibility than I do out of my case. Make this upshift from third to fourth. Yeah, power's great. Actually, the distance it takes to get up to spraying speed is actually quite a bit less in this than it is on my hydrostat machine. That's impressive.
I had the opportunity to drive the 1220 Plus with 100-foot booms. We drove it through some pretty rough stubble fields, and the boom ride was spot on, nice and smooth. I took it through some paces up and down and across some hills. I was impressed. it felt pretty stable. I'm running 6 miles an hour with a track tractor. Definitely a lot smoother than a track machine. It had plenty of power. That was never an issue. I mean, it would climb any of these hills without any problems. Power is not an issue. Everything was laid out nice. The ergonomics of it was nice. The controls were slightly different than what I'm used to, but it wasn't long. Within a few minutes, I was figuring out the concept of it. I did like how you didn't have to move your hand, you know, so that is one good thing about the way that's set up. It was a good experience. It left me with a lot more knowledge and kind of thought process as to what direction I want to head with things.
I was driving the 1220 plus 2 with GPS in it. More horsepower, the axles go out wider on these than the older ones. More stability in the hills. I was impressed with the ride, how smooth it was, how quiet the cab was, the speeds it was able to travel. The auto heights I thought worked very well. We have from flat ground up to 45% slope. Anywhere from very hard ground to very soft, steep side hills. Very impressed at how well it went up and down the hills, how it handled the side hills. Better than I expected in these hills. I think it'd handle most of our ground fine. I definitely think we could get more production in a day. You know, deadheading to the truck would be an advantage. Easier wing up. You know, everything's done from the cab, so that would definitely could speed things up. Yeah, I think the Plus 2 would be, I think it needs that hillside edition with the bigger final drives, the bigger tires. I think is definitely a must in these hills.
That's one of the things that interested us about Apache in the first place was you looked at it and you think, well, that's pretty straightforward. You got a motor, you got a transmission, you got a drive line, you got a differential, and you got a final drive back there. What can go wrong if it's maintained and taken care of? The important thing anymore to me is, yeah, I want to be able to get up the hill decent and get the job done, but also to keep your spray pattern on. But this is enough power now that I think it's going to do very well. I like it because of our hills. It's a nice stability factor when you get out on the hills to be able to spread out that axle and widen your footprint and have the security of that out there. The thing I like about the adjustable axles is transportation, moving. When I leave town, the roads are not narrow, but they're not great. So it just makes it easy to go up and down the road, pull the axles in, put them back out if you're concerned about it. Many times I don't even put them out if I have any kind of hills and stuff, just from a standpoint of ease, not a safety standpoint, because I don't think it's a problem either way. Just for me to push the button and the axle goes out and you drive around out there and you get ready to go down the road, so you don't have to fight traffic and everything while you push the button and slide him in and off you go. I don't know much about red or green or yellow or the other colors, but as far as a cost per acre just in fuel, it's been very, very economical with Apache. Well, financially, that's another reason that I like Apache, because they're cheaper to get into, and they make you a lot of money when it comes to what it does. You get more out of them when you sell them. Nowadays, you know, we're living in an internet world. You go start looking around in the internet and online, and they're a good price because they bring a very good return on investment when you trade them. They don't deteriorate in price like maybe some of the others do, has been my experience.